Honestly, your fragrances suck. You want to know why? Because you're only using top notes and there's no real layers or development within your fragrances. Trust me, I know because when I was making fragrances to begin with, it did not last very long, maybe about 30 minutes, and I'm probably being generous. So when it comes to just using this one technique, this will help to elongate your fragrances and make them last longer throughout the day. So let's get right into the video. Did you know that 50% of perfumes contain some form of vanilla? This makes it the most popular base notes because it brings a lot of sweetness, warmth, and even comfort to your fragrance profiles. This is the one technique that has really helped to bring more longevity to my fragrances. And I'm going to share with you 4 common vanillas to use within your fragrances, one being the most popular and best for your fragrance oils. I'm also going to share with you how to fragrance your body butters and your body creams because there is a lot of difference when it comes to that. Now, today I'm going to be making a large batch of body cream, and I just want to share with you some tips that I have learned when it comes to adding in fragrance to your creams and even your body butters. So let's get right into it. All right, so I'm just starting off with my heat phase and I'm just measuring everything out. But when it really comes to your fragrances, I really love vanillas because they just have such a wide range and they really help to bring your fragrances together more than you might think. And they're a really great base note. Now, the first vanilla I want to talk about is going to be Mexican vanilla. Now, this is a really great, more like smoky vanilla. And it's really great because it brings like a nice smoky aroma. It's a bit sweet and it's a bit kind of woodsy as well. So it really gives a nice aroma to any fragrances that may have chocolate in it, or if it has more of a gourmand or a bit of a sweetness to it. It's going to help kind of round that out and give it more of a rustic, more a little bit woodsy of a smell, more warm and spicy. So I really love the way that Mexican vanilla kind of comes across when it comes to your fragrances. And I'll be sure to have these vanillas linked down below too, so that you'll be able to try these all out, because these are really great and they can be used in different types of your fragrances because they all bring a different type of vanilla to your fragrance oil. Now, the next vanilla is going to be bourbon vanilla. Now, this is a really great vanilla because it kind of brings more of a warm, spicy note to your fragrances. This one works really well, for example, maybe an apple crumble. It brings a nice sweet yet spicy note to it, and it just really helps any sweet gourmand type fragrances that you have really be more developed. And so I really love the way that the bourbon vanilla makes everything come together really nicely. Now, when it comes to the bourbon vanilla, you just want to use that at around 25 to 30%. Again, it helps to really round out your middle notes more so than the top notes. It will really kind of bring those middle notes together, because in the middle notes of your more gourmand fragrances is where you're going to have a buttercream fragrance, or where you're going to have your vanilla cake fragrance, and it's going to help to elevate those fragrances and bring more of a spicy, sweet note to it to really help that develop properly. I am so excited to announce that our fragrance ebook is finally here. This is a 7-step process to master any fragrance oil. Now, I'm only going over a small portion of this in this video, but this ebook is jam-packed with so much information. If you are having a hard time just even figuring out what to add to your fragrances or what you need for your top, middle, and base notes, then you are going to love the 10 cheat sheets that I have. They go from floral all the way up to gourmand, and I even have some seasonal options in there as well. And you'll be able to pick out what fragrances you want to create the perfect gourmand or floral fragrance. Now, if you're also having a hard time even finding perfect fragrances, then I have a curated vendors list in this ebook as well that's going to have great high quality essential oils and fragrance oils that you can choose from. And I also have a great fragrance roadmap. Now, with this roadmap, you'll be able to curate any of your fragrances. It helps keep you organized so that you know exactly what percentage you have for every fragrance, what top notes, middle notes, and base notes you're making, and what products are going to be used in. And it's just a really great way to keep you organized and know what each fragrance is going to be. Now, if you're ready to have more long-lasting fragrances that last longer than 30 minutes, then grab your ebook today. Now, when it comes to fragrances, I find that body butter is probably one of the hardest ones to fragrance. And I get this a lot from people, from clients, and I just get emails of people saying, how do I fragrance my body butter? It's not lasting long. There's too many competing fragrances. Trust me, I get it. When I was making my body butters, I would fragrance them and it would smell really great in the jar. But once you put it on your skin, it just lasts for a little bit. Your room might smell good for about an hour, and then it all just dissipates. And that's because I was just buying the, blueberry crumble from Brambleberry and just added that and didn't add any other development to it. Now, you'll notice in a lot of these fragrance places, they'll say that it has, blueberry top notes and a cake middle note, and there's a vanilla base note, and it'll say that it's curated in that way. But a lot of times it's not enough to really elongate the fragrance. You need other components that are going to elevate the blueberry, for example, or going to, elongate the fragrance of the buttercream. Just things of that nature that you have to think about that's going to really help to bring it all together. Now, when it comes to adding fragrance to body butter, I have 5 tips that are going to really help your fragrance last a lot longer. And I have to say, number 1 is my absolute favorite. All right, so start off with number 5, we're going to be using humectants. Now, when it comes to body butter, it has low scent diffusion, and that's because there's no water in this product. So it really just doesn't distribute very properly within your body butter, making it really hard for it to even last long on your skin. It just is really just, skin level, skin surface when it comes to your fragrances. But a really great way to combat this is using humectants, because humectants is going to allow for the fragrance to distribute a lot better within your fragrance, allowing for it to last a lot longer, especially when you're using it on damp skin. So it just makes your product last just a little bit longer by adding in humectants. Now, I have 3 that are going to be really great to use. You can use glycerin, there's also sorbitol, and there's also going to be lanolin. Now, this is a really great ingredient. It's actually my favorite when it comes to this, because not only does it have great benefits of adding in, a lot of great moisture, but it's going to help for your fragrance to last a lot longer, and it just gives your skin a nice great feel as well. Now, for tip number 4, this is going to be using fragrance oils that have a longer lasting power. They have great staying power because these are going to be heavier fragrances. When you check out my ebook, you will see that you have top notes, middle notes, and base notes, and they all kind of have their own heaviness when it comes to your fragrance, and this is what helps it for it to last a lot longer throughout the day. Now, there are several different base notes that we can use, and I share my favorite ones in the ebook, but we don't only need to use vanilla. Vanilla is a great base note to use, and that's what we're talking about that in this video. But when it comes to other great ones, you can use cedarwood, there's sandalwood, you also have like a warm woodsy fragrance as well, there's musk. So these are really great base notes that are going to be a lot heavier and allow for the fragrance to last a lot longer throughout the day because of how heavy it is when it comes to your overall fragrance. Now, next up is going to be number 3. Now, this is going to be benzoate resins. Now, this is going to be really great because it actually helps to enhance and prolong the fragrance longevity. Now, when it comes to benzoate resin, this actually has a light vanilla-like aroma to it, so it actually helps to enhance your fragrance. It's kind of like a base note in a way that's going to help to elongate your fragrance. Now, with this, you can get it in a powder form or a liquid form. You can wait for everything to cool down a bit and then add the liquid to your oils. And then if you have the powder version, then you can add this at the cool down phase as you're whipping it as well, for it to be able to disperse properly throughout your whole body butter. But with this little enhancement, this is going to help for your fragrance to last longer throughout the day as well. Now for number 2, and this has to be one of my absolute favorites because this really does help with your fragrance. And this is going to be kaolin clay. Now, this has a really great texture for your body butter, but not only that, it actually has a neutral pH, so it's not going to mess with the balance of your body butter that you already have, and it just also helps for the fragrance to last a lot longer as well because it absorbs the oils, allowing for the fragrance to last a lot longer as well. So kaolin clay, if you already have that, and I'm sure you probably already do, this is going to be a really great addition to your body butters. Now for number 1. Now this is going to be ethanol or perfumer's alcohol. This is a really great ingredient because it actually helps for the fragrance to dissolve and evenly distribute throughout the mixture, allowing for it to last a lot longer. Now this is a really great powerful ingredient, and I would only use this at like 1 to 2%. 1 is a really great number just because you don't want to add too much and for it to dry out your skin. But with this, is really great to add, especially to a body butter, because this allows for the fragrance in your body butter to last a lot longer. It will help to elevate your fragrance in creams as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. But when it comes to your body butters, this is a really great ingredient to every time get the perfect fragrance that's going to last once it evaporates evenly on the skin when applied. All right, this body cream is coming together pretty well. Now I'm going to get into the next vanilla, and that's going to be Tahitian vanilla. Now this is a really great vanilla, and it pairs excellent when it comes to floral scents. Now with this, it's more of like an exotic, warm vanilla that just pairs really well, like for your like more romantic fragrances or like sexy fragrances. Even if you're like making like male-centered fragrances, this vanilla would work really well with that as well. So if you're thinking of making any Valentine's Day fragrances, then I would use Tahitian vanilla in those fragrance profiles. I even have a Valentine's Day fragrance cheat sheet in the fragrance ebook, so definitely snag that if you're trying to come up with great ideas for that. And they're very romantic, sexy fragrances. Now, when it comes to scenting your body creams, this has to be one of the easier options when it comes to scenting. And that's because it's water-based, so it makes it a lot easier to distribute the fragrance, and it just lasts a lot longer on your skin as well. But your girl has 3 tips that are going to really help to elongate the fragrance for your body cream and give you a more pro-level fragrance for your body creams. Now, starting off with number 3, we have sodium lactate. Now, this is a really great ingredient because it actually holds on to the scent, creating a nice, great barrier for your fragrance to last a lot longer. This is a really great ingredient that is going to not only like draw in moisture, but it helps to lock in the scent that you have so that once it hits your skin, that it evaporates slowly and allows for the fragrance to distribute a lot better in the body cream, and also distribute a lot slower and evaporate as you're wearing it throughout the day. So it really just helps to elongate the fragrance very well. Now that brings me to number 2, and that's going to be emulsifiers, and that would bring in polysorbate 80 or Olevium 1000. Now, of course, this is going to emulsify your oil and water, but what's really great about this is that it's going to help to evenly distribute your fragrance throughout your product, and also giving you a lot more consistency and allow for the fragrance to cling onto your product and onto your skin when you are using it, allowing for it to last a lot longer throughout the day. Okay, so now for number 1. Now this is going to be silicone oils, and you don't need a lot of this. I'll use this at 1 to 2%. But what's really great about the silicone is that it's going to slow down the evaporation process of your fragrances and allow for it to distribute a little bit slower so that the fragrance lasts a lot longer throughout the day. You're not going to get an abrupt fragrance right away. It's going to be a slow release, allowing for it to last a lot longer. And that's really kind of what you want. You don't want it to evaporate so quickly that you lose the fragrance very quickly within an hour or 30 minutes. So this is going to allow for a slow release. Now this brings me to our last vanilla, and this is going to be vanillin. Now this is going to be a synthetic or derivative of vanilla that's a really great fragrance that's going to be a great base for any fragrance. Now I'm going to be using ethanol vanillin, and this is going to be like alcohol-based vanillin. So this is really great if you want to use ethanol or perfumer's alcohol. It's a really great combination, and you would use this at 1% in every fragrance oil. I would always just use this ingredient to help elongate your fragrance. The alcohol helps for the evaporation of the fragrance to be a lot slower and allows for it to distribute a lot better as well. Now with the vanilla, it does have a really great like sweet, warm vanilla scent to it. It doesn't smell artificial, but I would use that along with the Tahitian vanilla or the Mexican vanilla to help to elevate that vanilla fragrance as well. So it's a really great ingredient that I would use in every single fragrance oil that you have. And if you don't have the ethanol vanillin, then I would use perfumer's alcohol or ethanol to replace that in order to have a better fragrance. But now that you have the tea on how to elongate your fragrances, watch this video here where I share with you on how to have better texture and consistency in your body butters. And I'll catch you in the next one.